hard act to follow. I have some brochures over here on this table and would love for you to take one. When I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I decided that I thought I would start with my story. I started drinking coffee at age 3 and have had an addiction to coffee all my life. When I went to school, and I'm an only child, raised by 2 parents who neither one of them graduated from high school. So education was very important. I didn't learn how to read till I was in the 3rd grade. So you can imagine how frantic my parents were, because their only child was going to go to college, and here she is in 3rd grade, not even able to read. I finally learned to read, but math remained difficult. In 7th grade, the public schools were going to half days, and so my father got the bright idea to put me in a Quaker prep school. This was in Philadelphia. And anybody who knows anything about education, the East Coast prep schools are about a year ahead of the prep schools here in the Midwest. So in 7th grade, I was doing 9th grade work. The problem was, I didn't have any background. My mom and my dad both said to me, find a way. And when you talk about the spirituality and higher powers, and your higher power giving you what you need to get through, I have been blessed in my life. I found ways in 7th grade to survive and learn. And by the time I graduated from high school, 2nd in my class, I could learn better than any of my friends. And they kept saying to me, you are crazy. And I kept saying, so what? I'm not hurting you. I'm not doing anything wrong or immoral. And what I'm doing works. Went on to college. First day of college, I learned to play bridge. And for 4 years, my father said to me, if you would just do a little less bridge and a little more studying. Well, I said, Daddy, I'm happy with the 3.5. I don't need the 4-point. And that was a discussion we had for 4 years. I thought I wanted to go to nursing school. I was up there for 6 weeks. I called my daddy and I said, I made a big mistake. I can't be a nurse. He said, well, come back. We'll get you back in college. So I graduated with a major in sociology, a minor in psych. I couldn't major in psych because back then it was all Freud. And I couldn't wrap myself around Freud. And enough credit hours to be an elementary school teacher. Let's fast forward, had a child. My husband and I taught for 5 years, that was good. My father died, and things started to fall apart a little. But my husband bought a party store. Party stores are open, from 6 in the morning till 12 at night, 7 days a week. The only day we were closed was Christmas. That provided an awful lot of structure in my life. Praises be. That marriage broke up, and I remarried. And my second husband and I, we had a restaurant. 6 o'clock in the morning till 11 at night. We were closed on Sundays, so it was only 6 days a week instead of 7. More structure. When we separated, it was bad. Very bad. I went to work selling computers, long hours, that was good, except when it came to reading the technical manuals. Now you would think someone who was a college graduate could read a simple manual from Radio Shack. Could not do it. Could not read that and comprehend it. So, always teamed up with another associate. I would do the selling and they would do the technical part of putting things together. I did, one day, a big truck pulled up with 750 computers and 700 monitors, and I was there by myself to unload the truck. I was like 48 years old, and I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when I'm in my 60s? I better find something else to do. So I decided to go back to school, which I did. Went to Wayne. When I was working on my master's at age 50, I found out I was ADHD. Aha! That made a lot of sense about why I had to do things the way I had to do it. So I got my master's, and I tried to teach in schools. But after you've been your own boss for 20 years, it's awfully hard to take direction from people you have no respect for. The first 5 years back in the 60s, right after high school, there weren't teacher unions. It was a professional organization, and teachers had some respect in the community. So I tried very hard for 5 years to survive in the system, and I failed miserably. In one school district, I got written up for teaching too much. So I had an opportunity to go to work in a private clinic as a tutor, which I did. So a kid would come in, and I was supposed to work with this kid for 55 minutes on a content area subject. Well, the kid would sit down after 20 minutes. The kid thoroughly knew, what is this kid doing here? And he had it. There wasn't any way he could pay any attention for 55 minutes. So I started looking at why all these kids were having trouble in school. And I found out there's very good reason, and everything's fixable. It's not fixable overnight, but it's fixable. So that's what I do. I work with kids of all ages. I even have a couple of kids who are older than me on improving their mental performance. Okay? If you aren't getting the grades you should be getting for what your IQ is, there's parts of your brain that are weak, and we can fix it. And as we fix your brain, things like stress, forgetfulness, impulsivity, and feelings of being overwhelmed and disorganized disappear. That's what I do. I'd love the opportunity to help you or someone in your family. The brain fitness goes with physical fitness. So you can't take the brain and separate it from the rest of the body. I would love to give a free diagnostic to find out what's impacting your ability to perform at the level you want to perform at. And if you get one of my brochures and call this number, the first 10 people will get a free diagnostic with recommendations on what you can do to improve your mental performance. Thanks a lot for listening to my story. I'm still having a good time training brains, and I look forward to helping all of you.